Craignethan or Tillietudlem. Craignethan Castle, one of the stock show places of Scotland, lies about 3/4 of a mile from the town of Crossford, on the craggy banks of the Nethan, a mile above its junction with the Clyde. The banks of the river are bold and picturesque, and the castle, placed on a high promontory at a bend in the stream, occupies a situation which was both beautiful and defensible. The former qualification presumably did not appeal to the builders, though it now is an important factor in the pleasure of the numerous visitors to the spot. The great attractiveness of the castle to visitors lies in the charm of romance added by the identification of the ruins with Scott's castle of Tillietudlem, described in old Mortality. For this we have Scott's partial authority, as follows. The castle of Tillietudlem is imaginary, but the ruins of Craignethan, situated on the Nethan about 3, actually 1, miles from its junction with the Clyde, have something of the character of the description in the text. The castle of Craignethan is usually visited by a round-trip excursion from Glasgow, which also takes in the falls of the Clyde. A short walk from Crossford brings us to the foot of the hill on which the castle stands, which we climb by a zigzag path. At the top we find ourselves before the west front of the castle. This is a battlemented wall with an arched gateway in the centre and square towers at each corner. The front is well provided with embrasures for cannon, and impresses the average visitor as a most martial facade. Passing through the gateway, we find ourselves in the outer courtyard, 190 by 140 feet in dimension. This is surrounded by a continuous battlemented wall nearly 4 feet thick, and well provided with embrasures for guns. The courtyard contains some lean-to buildings of the same date as the walls, and a house erected by Andrew Hay, who bought the castle in 1665. The inner court is reached through a narrow gateway, formerly defended by a portcullis. This gave onto a drawbridge over the moat, which was 30 feet wide and 12 feet deep, and faced with stone. The west wall of the inner courtyard was 16 feet thick, probably to furnish an adequate platform for heavy artillery. It is now very ruinous, but the south wall is fairly well preserved. This was defended by 2 towers with embrasures for guns. The keep is the oldest part of the building. It is built on an unusual plan, being divided longitudinally into 2 compartments by an internal wall. The principal floor is on the ground level, instead of being raised 1 story, and there is a vaulted underground basement. The entrance door is an arch, defended by double doors and a bar, but without a portcullis. Inside is a lobby with a staircase leading up and down, and beyond is the vaulted hall, 40 feet by 20. On the north side are the private hall and a guard room, both with newel stairs to the apartments above, which are so ruined as to be inaccessible. In the vaulted basement is a well faced with cut stone. The keep has battlements supported by a double row of corbels, and open bartizans at the angles. The southeast tower, reached by a narrow passage between the wall and the keep, is very large, and contains on the ground floor the kitchen. This has a large fireplace which was provided with machinery on which whole animals could be roasted. Below this is a vaulted basement, and above a gun room, provided with horizontal embrasures. Probably most of the castle was built by Sir James Hamilton of Finnart, superintendent of the royal palaces and castles for James V in the first half of the 16th century, but the keep was undoubtedly built much earlier. The estate was originally known as Nethan, and was acquired by James, Lord Hamilton, in the middle of the 15th century. From the Castle and Keeps of Scotland, published in 1907.